First, we will discuss structuralism. Structuralism identifies components of the mind and the body. It is the purpose of all thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Structuralism is used to believe that the way to learn about the brain and its functions is to break down the mind into its most basic elements. Structuralism applies to psychology because it seeks to analyze the adult mind and finds how the components of the mind fit together to form complex experiences. It analyzes how the mind forms the complex experiences and how they correlate to physical events. The theory of structuralism strives to understand the key components of the mind by breaking each thought and emotion down to its most basic elements. Edward Bradford Titchener is the founder of structuralism in 1879. An example of structuralism would be examining an apple. The apple is crisp, sweet, juicy, round, and hard. Next, we will be talking about psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis is the theory of personality and the dynamics of personality. It focuses on treating mental disorders by recognizing the relationships between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Sigmund Freud is the father and founder of psychoanalysis in the 1890s. Freud believed that people could be cured by making their conscious thoughts into unconscious thoughts and motivations. This helped others gain insight. He believed that childhood events and unconscious conflicts shaped a person's experience in adulthood. His theory of psychoanalysis created the framework for the psychoanalytical therapy, a deep, individualized form of talk therapy. An example of psychoanalysis would be an adult being afraid of dogs. This could be used as an example because the adult could still be scared of dogs because of a traumatic time when they were a child. Now, we will be talking about functionalism. Functionalism is the process of understanding functions or adaptive purposes of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This is also a modification of how we process information to make our lives easier. Functionalism considers mental life and behavior in terms of active adaptation to the person's environment. William James is the founder of functionalism in the 19th century. William James was not only a psychologist but a doctor and a philosopher. James believed that functionalism provides a general basis for developing psychological theories not testable by controlled experiments. James also believed that society is made up of groups or institutions that share common norms and culture. An example of functionalism is education, because education has several important functions in a society, such as learning as a class. Now, let's discuss behaviorism. Behaviorism is the process of explaining all behaviors and focuses on particularly observable behavior. Behaviorism is a systematic approach and assumes that all behaviors are either reflexes produced by a response to certain situations. Behavior theorists define learning as nothing more than the acquisition of new behavior based on environmental conditions. Behaviorism was founded in 1913 by B.F. Skinner. Skinner founded the term of operant conditioning. This means that behavior is determined by its consequences, which makes it more or less likely that the behavior will occur again. He also believed that the best way to understand behavior is to look at the causes of an action and its consequences. Skinner helped come up with ways that schools could use behavior modification, which is used in schools to this day to help with behavior issues. Lastly, we will be discussing cognitivism. Cognitivism is defined as the processes of all behavior. Cognitivism is the study of higher mental processes such as attention, language use, memory, perception, problem-solving, and thinking. The core focus of cognitivism is studying how people acquire, process, and store information. It is used to help explain human behavior and the thought process behind all behavior. Cognitivism is used as a theoretical approach and uses processes involved in learning rather than observing the behavior. This is used to help look into how people think, remember, learn, solve problems, and direct their attention to one stimulus rather than another. The founder of cognitivism is Jean Piaget in 1936. Piaget uses the theory to explain how a child constructs their mental model of the world. He also disagrees that intelligence was a fixed trait, and he regarded cognitive development as a process which occurs due to biological maturation and interaction with the environment.